and I was getting nowhere really. And all of a sudden, iTunes picked it out in the new and noteworthy podcast section, and I got like 50 downloads. I was like, sick. And then I got 100, 200, 400, 500, 1,000, and I just started getting all these downloads. And I don't know if it was an algorithmic thing but I remember one point after, say, show 12 or 13, there was like, at the time, talking like 2013, 2014, it was like Laid Back Luke was number one. It was like Avicii, then there was Tiesto, and then there was like me. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Hey, dude.
Graham, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm very excited to talk to you. Like I said earlier when I talked to you on the phone, I heard someone from your team talking in a clubhouse in probably January, and I was just like I was blown away by what you've been up to, and I was like, man, I need to get those guys in a conversation somewhere, and had it kind of planned in my ideas for like the whole year, and then all of a sudden it was like, shit, I could do it on Twitch. Wicked, let's do it.
Yeah, man, so that clubhouse thing, that blew up, didn't it? I don't know if it's still as popular as it was kind of during that time. It just kind of, everyone jumped on it, and then, yeah, I'm not on it so much these days.
I was on it last night for something that was,
right.
it popped up last night, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And I literally went on it, and I've got a load of followers on there, but I've literally been on it twice. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Lisa Welshie has just joined us. I'm guessing from your channel. She's our 909 follower.
Is she really? Well done, Lisa. I think I met her at. I was playing a festival on Saturday in Swansea, and I'm pretty sure she was there.
She's our 909.
What she won?
Amazing. I haven't. I only saw it. I don't know. We'll find something for her.
Put you on the spot there.
Yeah, message me after on Instagram or something, and I'll find a prize. We'll find a prize for our 909. She can have the Ray form for a start. So for those that don't know who you are, can you give them a quick brief history up to before COVID, basically?
Right, about the label, the brand, how it came about.
Yeah. You, the brand. Let's just kind of inform everyone, because I'm sure the people that don't know who you are, and obviously I do, but there'll definitely be people in our chat.
Yeah, for sure. So my background is radio, which I did for 20 odd years in my early kind of. I think I was 18 or 19 when I first started at a radio station, which launched in the Northeast called Galaxy, and I know they had about 5 stations across the country, like Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. So that's where I got kind of into that side of things. I managed to get my own show, kind of progressed from there. And then I started working for Head Candy as a resident DJ back in 2007. Resident for them for 4.5 years. Amazing times, flew all around the world, Brazil, China, Jakarta, all over Europe. Had an amazing time. And it was when Head Candy was, still pretty big, and then with my radio background, the guys at Ministry of Sound asked if I would produce the Head Candy radio show. I did that for 18 months, and it was the most listened to show on the station, which was awesome. I did that with a girl called Zoe Hardman, who I think's on, I can't remember what station she's on at the moment, Real Radio maybe. Anyway, when I was at Head Candy, I always had a vision of, they used to put out great albums, and it was kind of going towards that commercial route, which I wasn't too keen on. And it was kind of losing its identity, if that makes sense. Anyway, things changed at Ministry of Sound and Head Candy. They brought in all the girl DJs, and they got rid of myself, John Jones, Andy Norman, and we kind of, that was that really. And I was still working at a radio station local to me, doing the Saturday night show. And again, things changed there, where they started nationalising everything, so all the local DJs were losing the show. And it got to a point where I was like, this is a bit rubbish. But love house music, and I love presenting and stuff. And I was like, well, I'll start my own podcast. And I came up with the idea of Let There Be House, just from that iconic kind of vocals word track, in the beginning there was
Yep.
Jack, and Jack had a groove, and Let There Be House, I had a kind of vision of, well, when people see it, it is what it says on the tin type thing, if you know what I mean. So they know what they're going to get if they click on it. So I put this podcast together. I was going to do it weekly, got someone to design a logo, and I did it for 6 weeks. And I was getting a few plays on SoundCloud, Mixcloud, nothing massive, like 20 or 30. And I was putting it through to iTunes, the podcast app. And after the 6th week, I nearly gave up. I was like, I'm putting all this time and effort into producing these shows. It takes time. And I was getting nowhere really. And all of a sudden, iTunes picked it out in the new noteworthy podcast section. And I got like 50 downloads. I was like, sick. And then I got 100, 200, 400, 500,000. And I just started getting all these downloads. And I don't know if it was an algorithmic thing but I remember one point after, say, show 12 or 13, there was like, at the time, talking like 2013, 2014, it was like Laid Back Luke was number one. It was like Avicii, then there was Tiesto, and then there was like me. I was like, what the hell's going on? But I was getting so many messages from people all over the world saying, love your podcast, and it just kind of kept on growing and kept on growing. Going back to the Head Candy thing, I thought the podcast is a platform to expose music, and I thought, I always fancied having a record label that could do just what Head Candy could do in Ministry in terms of putting singles out, but also doing a radio show. We could look at potentially doing albums, which would go on to like parties, and just kind of make the brand like do a number of things. And it came after about, I think it was about back end of 2014. I met a guy called Jamie Watkins, and they were like listening to the podcast, and he invited me down to Wales, played a party, and he said, "Oh, I'd like to invest, and I could give you some help and to make this bigger and better." So yeah, we did that, and we had a few members on the team. We decided to launch a record label back in 2016, sorry. And then, yeah, we started putting out tracks, and then we started doing parties, and we still do that weekly podcast, although I do it bi-weekly with Queen Bee at the moment. That's where the kind of brand came from, and here we are today.
That's mental. So you literally 6 podcasts in, nearly ended. Oh my god!
Nearly called it a day. I said to the wife, I was like, I've given it a go. I've been doing this for like almost a month and a half, and like I said, the SoundClouds and stuff were trickling away. But I don't know what. I think there's a matrix out there. And anyway, just before I was packing in, they went, there you go, on iTunes, and then that was the game changer, complete 100% game changer. If that didn't happen, I might not be sat here chatting to you today.
No way, that's mental. That's mental. I've literally one of the same. I've got on my SoundCloud. It sort of goes to a point, and I was definitely going to give up at a point then, and then I got offered the Dominica remix edit. You know, the one that literally.
Oh yeah.
And I've put that up on SoundCloud. And it's had like 4 million players, and it literally boosted my SoundCloud up to the ridiculous numbers that it is now. And
yeah,
that changed the game for me a little bit as well.
So I think
that's mental. Yeah.
You just got to kind of stick at it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the kind of little message out there. Just kind of, if you think about giving up, don't, because you never know what's around the corner.
So then we get to lockdown last year. Tell me, literally, like I said, I heard this story in Clubhouse. So tell me this story, because it's like you started. What was the thoughts? What was the plan for the label? Obviously, you're very housey and you're very kind of party, and you've got no parties all of a sudden.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, us and a lot of labels exactly in the same boat, but we're having a great start to 2020. I think the 3rd of March, we had just flown over Seb Junior to play for us at Box Park. We do monthly parties there, and it was such a wicked night, great vibe. And then we had our next one planned, and then Boris told us all to stay at home. I think that was around about the 20th of March. So we were like, okay, how are we going to interact with our followers? How are we going to keep momentum going? Because, like I say, no parties, nothing like that. And I think we sat on Zoom, all of us, for about 3 hours, kind of thinking of ideas of what we can do to still kind of stay in the people's minds and get the music played and stuff like that. And I said, "Oh, right, I've got my decks in the garage. Seriously, Technics, Cather and Dust. I've not used them for like 7 or 8 years because everything's digital now, and I've got loads of records. Why not? I'll do like a set on Facebook." And they're like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." So gets the decks out on the kitchen table, like back in the day, the old kitchen parties. Troll through all my records, getting as many kind of old school good tracks as I could, and then we just did it on Facebook, and it was through my iPhone using an Evermix box, and that was pretty much it. And I think we had like 400 and odd people on, which when I finished, because I was concentrating so much, my phone was going mental. The guys were like, "How good was that?" I think I got copyright struck when I played Joey Negro, Make a Move on Me, and I was like, "Oh, good," but I had I didn't really know what was going on with copyright thing much at the time. I was like, "Right, got to do this every week now." The interaction was amazing, so we started, right, let's do it next week. Let's get some proper artwork. Let's give it a name. So we called it Vinyl Sessions. We got artwork, and then we did it on Facebook again, and the numbers were going up. And I thought, because everyone's at home, you can't go anywhere, your families and stuff. And I've got 3 girls. I've got twins that are 13, and I've got a 5-year-old. And they were like, "Oh, Dad, what are you doing?" and stuff, because they don't really know what to do. That they're into their own things and stuff. And they were like watching. I said, "Right, what we'll do is we'll get you on. I'll teach you how to cue a record up." And because I thought, if we get the family kind of involved as well, it's going to relate so much to so many people that are going to be in the same place as everyone else, really. So I got the girls involved, and we're queuing up and bringing in the tracks, and people were kind of, "Yeah, this is really great," and sharing it. And I think the 3rd or 4th weekend, we had like 800 odd followers on watching it once on Facebook, which was like insane. And then we did that for a while, and we kept building. We kept putting things in the chat on Facebook, like our website. We started sort of brainstorming, what else can we put in there. We've got loads of merchandise. I mean, I'll talk about that a little bit later on with the Twitch thing. We started putting playlists in there. We started doing competitions, like this was like to grow the stream, to get people to share it. Like, "Oh, if you share the stream, you have a chance to win yourself a Let There Be House t-shirt." Just like giving things away just to get people to interact, and people were sharing, and then other people start watching, and it just kind of snowballed. And we're having a good kind of run on Facebook, but as everyone else knows, and yourself as well, if you ever did any live streaming on Facebook, it was just, it was getting to become painful, because the copyright thing just kept cutting you off, and you'd go back on, and then you'd lose people because they weren't going to come back. And it got to the point where I think we sat down, and one of the guys that are on the team, a guy called Pete, he's been banging on about Twitch for, it must be a few years now. He's like, "Guys, I know it's a gaming platform, but I've seen a few DJs on there. We need to get on it. And we're like, "All right," just kind of brushed past it and didn't really take it seriously. And it got to the point where Facebook copyright thing was just getting just a joke. And we said, right, we must have had a 2-hour Zoom chat about Twitch, like making the jump over, because Facebook was so good, the interaction and stuff. And we're like, well, if people love it so much, they're going to come with us. So we decided to set up a Twitch channel and stream from Twitch, which I think was probably the best thing we'd done. We also carried on with Mixcloud as well. So we did them both, because they were kind of, you can't get taken down for copyright. And we wanted that experience for people watching on a Saturday night, couple of drinks, tunes turned up, just enjoying themselves, and that kind of personal interaction. And I was saying to somebody the other day, I think what we did and how we kept it real, from going from like Jazz P's bedroom to Queen Bee's place into my kitchen, it was like there was no thousands of pounds worth of production and all that, like you see some of the labels have, and which is awesome, and they can afford to do that. But I think having that kind of genuine, kind of, we're just normal people enjoying, loving the music, just sharing that kind of vibe is how we kind of grew week in and week out. People would tell their friends, "Oh, you got to get on this," and we just kind of we grew that way really. And our social media pages, I think at the start of March 2020 we had like 30,000 likes and 25,000 followers. And now, since predominantly the live streaming thing, what we've been doing, we've got like 110,000 likes and 90,000 followers and 90,000 likes. That's just Facebook. Instagram went up like 15,000. Twitter slow, but yeah, people just kind of jumped in with us and got on board and liked what we did.
How are you sending people from Facebook to Twitch? Was it literally just a post, or was you?
We did a few posts to be fair. Like I did like a video post. We got some artwork done. We've got also like a private group on Facebook, which got about 2,000 members in, which we put stuff in there, and we just started feeding it through on the podcast as well. We get like 60,000 downloads a month through iTunes. At SoundCloud, we get like 1,000 plays a week. So again, that's another platform where we can shout about things and let people know what's going on in the world of Let There Be House. So we said, yeah, we're taking the jump to Twitch. I think I even did a little video of like, this is the app. All you've got to do is literally sign in, give a username, boom. You don't have to pay anything. Yeah, we were really pleased with the fact that people took the transition over, because like a lot of people were like, what is Twitch? What's this platform they're moving to? Do you know what I mean? So we wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to sort of to continue to enjoy the streaming. And what the good thing was, you could watch it the whole thing without it dropping out or anything like that, which was a bonus.
How did your followers grow on Twitch? How did you? I guess obviously from a Twitch point of view, there's a revenue stream here as well. I'm guessing when you lost events, was that a big chunk of your revenue? How does that kind of factor into your overall monthly?
Yeah, definitely affected our sort of finances, because we had at the time we were doing a lot of stuff at Box Park and Shoreditch. We had a couple of other things that were bubbling, ready to sort of shout about, which had to be sort of cancelled pretty much. When the Twitch thing came and we were like, right, we can make some money from this as well on the monetizing thing. Like I say, we started only with a handful of people, and I think you have to there's a number of tiers on Twitch in order for you to get sort of into a position where you can advertise on it and make revenue from that. And that was another thing we discussed about, because when you jump on the stream, there's always a 30-second advert at the start, and we were like, you could put this in the middle of the stream or wherever, and we put it at the start. And now it's all, like, working in radio, I know people hate adverts, they just want to hear music, which is right. But so we decided to put this advert to sort of monetize at the start. And it's a bit like YouTube. You go onto YouTube, you want to hear a song, you type it in, oh, there's like an ad. You wait until that ad finishes. You don't sort of jump off. You're like, oh, it's only 30 seconds or 15 seconds. And so we had that, which ticks over when people jump on the stream. You get a small cut of that. But it's the subscriptions which really helped, and the bits as well. Yep. So we pushed like people to subscribe to the channel and just kind of put the message out there, you know, if you want to support us, subscribe to the channel. It's like same price as a coffee or something like that. Yeah. Well, there's different kind of membership levels. I think there's like a 25 quid one. There's a 10 quid and a 5 quid. So we were just like, yeah, if you want to support us in what we do, obviously everyone's going through tough times, you know, subscribe, you get extra little benefits. And we started telling people, oh, you buy these bits. Again, if you want to support us, it can be 10 pence, 5 pence, whatever people can put in. And we were just like blown away at the fact that people were buying these bits and they were like chucking them in, and we started getting these things called hype trains, which were like,
they're fun.
when people are chucking all these bits in, and it was like, whoa, what's going on? This is really cool. But I think it helped Saturday night, 6 o'clock, and people have had a few beers. I think, they don't mind sort of chucking a few quid here and there. And we were doing competitions. Like, it was that interaction in the chat as well. I think the Twitch chat become better than the Facebook one, weirdly. it was just so much more interaction, the emojis. We also did as well going on the membership tiers. If you pay like say £10 for a subscription, you could get an emoji of myself, like face, or Queen Bee's face, which like if you were just a normal subscriber, you didn't subscribe, you couldn't get that. And people were like, how'd you get the house logo emoji? How'd you get Glenn's face emoji? And it's like, right, you've got to subscribe, and that would help kind of bring the revenue up. And then we'd have the kind of Streamlab kind of messages as well, in terms of follow us here, here's our website, here's the merchandise, which again, talking about monetizing for the brand, the merch, which we use Twitch for, massively helped us financially. So on a Saturday night, I'd wear a t-shirt, my girls would wear a t-shirt, my wife would all be there sort of representing the brand, and people were like, where can I get a t-shirt, where can I get a hoodie? And it's like, put in the link for people to check out our merchandise, and we've got loads on our store: hoodies, t-shirts, we've got stuff for kids, there's all sorts on there. And we were shipping all over the place before Brexit. I'm talking Australia, little islands off south of Africa, like not heard of before. Seriously, we're sending it all, like lots in the UK, lots in Europe as well. So that really helped as well, sort of to kind of support us as a business kind of through this time. So using Twitch and the chat and the platform and what we were delivering was, it helped a lot. And even now, when we still do Twitch on a Saturday, we still have that kind of post going in the chat, and people can still subscribe to us, and we've got guests coming up in the pipeline. We're doing a couple this weekend. So yeah, it's definitely helped us through that kind of lockdown period in terms of growth of the brand and the label, and people know about us who didn't before. Selling merch, which again is a great brand awareness. When people are out and about, they're wearing the brand. And it also helped going to the label. We could play our songs on there first before anyone else, and people can hear them. And then we, again, using the chat to put in links here, check it out, it's on Spotify, check it out, you can download it from here, pointing people to the website and that type of stuff. So it was a great platform for us to continually, weekly, keep relevant, shout about our music, shout about what we're doing. And then also, when we knew we were coming out of lockdown, we could push people to let them know where we're going to be at and stuff like that.
Did you do that for 52 weeks? Is that a thing I read?
60 it was.
Whoa!
So, yeah, it was a long time, but yeah, we did, like, I remember getting dressed up for Halloween. I remember New Year's Eve, we all got dressed up for Boxing Day. And then we did this charity event called Set for Love. I don't know if you've heard of them. But
of course.
Yeah, so we did a 24-hour live stream, and I managed to pull in like our sets from a lot of DJs. We had like Seb Fontaine, Alistair Whitehead, Angelo Ferreri. Who else do we have? We had some really top names, as well as the residents and the guys that worked left at every house. It did take a lot of planning, and a lot of technical kind of effort went in behind the scenes, where we had these guys at a proper studio, and they worked 24 hours, like making sure all the video, like the transitions between the sets were going well. They were jumping in, doing sort of live bits on the total. We had a target of £10,000 that we wanted to get to, which would build a studio in Manchester for people who are struggling with mental health, especially young people, so they could get into music, they could learn how to write, they could learn how to produce. To cut a long story short, we smashed it. We got we made 14 grand, which went over to last night a DJ saved my life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, so we've got things for people that smash it. Ready?
Hulk smash!
I'm a Hulk fan. I'm a Hulk fan. He sticks his little head in the corner there. So we have the Hulk smash.
Yeah.
So you mentioned at the start you were playing vinyl the first one. Did that carry on through? Because obviously, but then you mentioned you were playing your own tracks later. Did you switch up the music? What happened there?
So no, we carried on with the vinyl thing. I think a lot of people, feedback I got personally from messages was that it was a lot more kind of interesting watching DJs mixing on vinyl rather than just standing there twiddling the knobs on CDJs. I've used Serato for quite a number of years, but never on vinyl until 18 months ago. So I always used it kind of with the CDs and stuff on CDJs. So I was like, right, the bonus we can do here is, in order to play our new stuff as well as the old, can use the Serato and just switch it so I can play normal vinyl, but then I can switch it to the time code and sort of play newer stuff. So we got to the point where after the first maybe 2 or 3 weeks, which was just solidly kind of the vinyl classics, kind of switching it up to play the newer stuff as well as the older, and that continued right the way through the 60 weeks where we could have the option of playing new stuff as well as old.
That's really cool. Were you testing kind of demos in the streams as well to see what feedback they got?
No, we didn't test any demos. We did test stuff that we'd signed, which was coming out like 2 months down the line, just to kind of get the feedback. And again, that's a good thing about live streams. Instantly, you can get a reaction. Obviously, the clubs and that are shut. You could tell by people's reactions if it was a banger or not. But you'd get the same reaction in the comments, like fire emojis. Oh, this is amazing! This is so cool. When's this out? So that was always good. You could get a good feel for how a record's going down.
That's cool. And I'm just thinking about the numbers. You said the growth of the label. That's like, those number growth is mental. Congrats, man, massively. That's the thing I heard. Like in the January, I was like, fucking hell, they've grown so much over that time. What has that opened up? Like from those having these now platforms with much bigger numbers, what has that opened up for the label going into, let's say, 2022?
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of sort of finding out about our sound and our vibe, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me wanting me book me for private parties, as well as a couple of kind of promoters and stuff that are interested in doing some things. We just played at Escape Festival in Swansea at the weekend, which we managed to sort out during what we were doing on the live stream thing. So, and it was great that we had so many people come down from watching this vinyl sessions, travel from Newcastle, Scotland, all over the place to come down. And the support's been great. And it's definitely opened up another doors. And I've got a story to tell you here in terms of having this kind of connection and how the streams have helped. So we've just had a remix out recently by David Morales. And
I know it well.
Still blows me away. You premiered it for us, so thank you for that. But the story is on this, because have someone, house royalty on the label like that, it still blows my mind. Like, so I was sitting one Sunday, I think I was watching the football, and I got a message saying Dave Morales is playing one of your tracks on his live stream. I was like, shut up. So I quickly jumped to his channel, checked it out, and he's playing Rescue Me by T-Bone and Jessica Rhodes, which came out in January of this year. And I was like, no way, this is mental. And then I was like, but what version's this? Because this is the version we put out. And I was like, I just put it into our WhatsApp group. I was like, what the hell? Check this out, guys. They're like, shock emojis and all that. No way. So I managed to, I think I reached out to Dave Morales on Instagram or whatever, saying, thank you so much for playing our track, But like, what version is that? And he was like, hey man, no worries. Like, I was amazed that I got a reply. And he's like, yeah, I like it. I just put my own kind of drums on it and all that type of stuff. And I was like, oh, no way. How mad's that? So just started kind of building up the relationship with him, just saying, oh, it'd be really cool if, like, I don't know, what's your thoughts on potentially doing like an official remix later down the line for us? And he was like, yeah, man, let's talk more. So we exchanged a few more emails, and he's like, send me the parts, and we kind of, it was kind of came from that, really. Just again from Twitch, from a live stream, and and I was laughing that it was maybe about 6 weeks ago. I was emailing, he just said, oh, call me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like proper nervous, like, there's a legend. He's like, hey man, how you doing? I was like, wow, I'm great. And he's like, yeah, man, love the track. I just put this on it, I put that on it, and I was like, oh, thank you so much for even like considering to do anything with us, because we're still, I mean, we're only 5-year-olds as a label, still quite young, I guess, but we've got that vision of trying to do better every year with better artists and better music that we're putting out, and just try to keep on sticking to our kind of roots, I think, in terms of what our sound is and what we put out. Not like kind of pigeonhole us to one type of sound, but kind of opening that envelope to extra kind of genres, really, and soulful, like new disco, as well as kind of the house stuff that we put out. So yeah, that was something that came primarily from Twitch. So Dave and Morales on board from that, which was
mental. That's
amazing.
mental. Are you enjoying this interview? If you are, consider subscribing to us on YouTube. And if you want to watch them live, come and join us on Twitch. The link's below, twitch.tv/Graham Farmer. We have live interviews, A&R sessions, demo listening sessions. We get labels into that are signing records. Come and join us on Twitch. It's good fun. Let's jump back into the interview, though. Let's go. I'm still the same. Like 40, I'm like data transmission now. 14 years old. I still get like, you can still get one like somebody massive like that drops in your email or gives you a call, and you're like, hello, hello? You're like, what does that person want? Hello. And it's like you get a little excited still. It's like still yeah, I know exactly that feeling. Like it must have been cool.
The call was only about 4 minutes. I didn't know what to say. I was like, yeah, man, thanks so much. Like, yeah, just thank you.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
With your streams, was it at the same time every week? Was it the same length? Like what? Let's just go into some logistics. Like what's the plan?
Yeah. So we started at 6 o'clock on a Saturday. It was normally till 8, and sometimes people would want it more. So they'd be like, Glen till 10, and I'd play a little bit more. And then we got Queen Bee to get involved, as well as Jazz. And so what we said was we start at 6, Queen Bee would start at 6, and then I'd go on 8 till 10, and then Jazz would go on a little bit later. So every week we'd make sure that Saturday we would be starting at 6. So wherever people were watching, they could get ready, get the drinks ready, turning on that TV and ready to watch the live stream. And it was really fun in my house as well, because people say, oh, thank you so much for what you did for us in lockdown. You really made it bearable, and we enjoyed coming to enjoy the set and the songs every week. But I always tell them I loved it just as much as people that were watching. Like finding the records, like at 4 o'clock, my girls would all start getting ready, getting the t-shirts on, we'd get our tea, we'd have like, and I'd set up all the live streaming stuff, which evolved from just Evermix and an iPhone to OBS and all that. So setting all that up and getting it ready to go at 6 o'clock. So that consistency of every Saturday at 6 o'clock, people would show up.
Did you ever have any nightmares? Do you have any on other streams, technical nightmares or?
Oh yeah. We've had a few. I always would forget to turn the mic button on, so I'd be like doing 2 minutes worth of shout outs, dipping the fader, but obviously there's a bit of a delay on Twitch, so I'm like, yeah, shout out to blah blah blah, but dipping the fader and nothing's coming out, and I was like, oh.
Yes, mate, I've done that as well.
I must have done that about 3 or 4 times, and it came like a bit of a running joke. But we had a few where
I've done exactly that, and because I'm in the shed, I get shouted at from the house, "Gee, Mike!" and I'm like, shit.
People like ringing my phone. I'm like, stop ringing me, I'm speaking, and then I'm like, oh my god, I've just been blabbing away there for 2 minutes and no one can hear what I'm saying. I think once as well I had an issue with Serato. It like crashed on me, which took about a minute or two to kind of reboot back up. And I think I did one stream which wasn't on a Saturday. It was somebody else asked me to do it, and I'm playing away, and I just turned around. There's like an Amazon delivery driver knocking on me with like a parcel, and I'm like, hey, check it out. What, this parcel came like live, which was quite amusing. But yeah, nothing too major in terms of sort of technical wise. So yeah, touch wood, it was always pretty much all right. And that goes a big thank you to, I don't know if they're watching now, Ash, who looks after the live stream. So he'll be sitting with his laptops, making sure everything ran smoothly, make sure it was going to all the platforms properly, and also the guys would interact on the chat as well, which was cool. So yeah,
you brought a few of them with you today. I was say hello to
oh,
someone.
there's a few on.
Yeah, there's a few.
Cool.
Andy, Let There Be House. Cheers, guys. Yeah, wicked. What was you doing? Like, obviously, the stream was on a Saturday. What happened with the stream after you finished? Did you distribute it to other platforms? Did you shop it for socials? What was the plan there?
Yeah. Especially on Twitch, because obviously they didn't take you down, but once you go back to watch it, they mute certain tracks, normally the kind of bigger ones. So it would be a case of like, once it's gone off, quickly kind of crop a few clips, which I think would be cool. In the early days, when it was on Facebook and that, because the chat and stuff was so fast, and I was concentrating so much in delivering a great set and stuff, once it finished, and sometimes it'd be like 10 o'clock, so the girls would go to bed, and my wife would be off to bed. I'd sit, I'd get me Moretti's, and I'd just watch it back in real time, just because to see how good it was making people feel, hearing these records that they'd not heard for so long, and how it was getting them through. And just, yeah, I was like blown away and humbled, like from the feedback and all the messages that I was getting. And I'd get personal messages, and it was just, yeah, it was amazing. So, but later on, it would be, once the stream's finished, clip a few clips. I used to record it as well, and I'd put that out on the Sunday. So if people wanted to listen to it back, I'd put that out, and it would go on Mixcloud and SoundCloud, and they went down really well. It wasn't the best quality, like in terms of the mic and all that, but I think that's why people liked it, because it was kind of quite real, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's just like a live performance mix, so they're sometimes a bit choppy and a bit kind of
because I was a little bit kind of worried that we were putting too much music out, in terms of like, so I had a podcast, I was doing a select radio show, plus this vinyl sessions, and they were going out like Friday, Sunday and a Monday, and I thought, is this too much music for people? But they seemed to enjoy it, and the amount of listens and stuff that I was getting was good.
Let's talk about your other channels. So Spotify, a big channel for you. I've seen your playlists. Did they grow during the platform? I've seen you promote them heavily on your socials. Like, let's talk about Spotify for you as a label. What do you do on there? What's your plan for there? And
yeah, Spotify, it's important for us as a label, as a kind of revenue, and for the artists that we're involved in. You know, we've got two types of the market, really. We've got the DJs who download from the DJ stores, and then you've got your fans who don't download from DJ stores and want to listen to tunes. So we've got we've got those two kind of demographics, and then we focus the kind of playlists on them, and the kind of downloads for the DJs. So in terms of Spotify, we've grown the playlist again during that pandemic, in terms of just sort of pushing them in the chat, and using them on social media to get people to follow, because obviously no one's going anywhere. They're going to be listening to a lot more music. So we did really push playlists a lot during the kind of pandemic. We even explored advertising on Spotify, in terms of putting a little like 30-second ad to come and follow the playlist, which worked as well. It did work. We did see a little bit of a spike in followers, only to the playlist that we were pushing, which was the label one. But again, it's an expense. It was something we tried, and we thought it did all right, but it didn't do amazing. So we kind of, let's look at exploring other avenues. So yeah, I mean, currently I get up early on a Friday morning when all the new stuff drops, and I update our label one. We've got one called Friday Fire, which is 50 tracks, and it has 25-ish stuff that's just come out on the Friday, and then I sprinkle in 25 from our label in it together, just so we can get that continuous streams for us, as well as sort of, letting them hear some new stuff as well, which I think's a really cool thing. So yeah, we're trying to grow that one as much as we can. We've got like a workout one, we've got a chill out one, and yeah, the podcast one as well. We thought, why not put the tracks? Because we did actually upload the podcast to Spotify for a time, but then Spotify changed their rules and said you can't do that. So
they literally stripped them down, didn't they? Like I had 3 podcasts on there, and they literally stripped them down over like 24 hours. They all podcasts that have me, because I would put a video up on YouTube saying this is how you do it, this is how you put them on Spotify, and like I was getting messaged on Instagram like my podcast's gone, you told me to do it, and I was like, crap, what's happened? But and they'd all just gone in like 24 hours. It was mental.
Yeah. So it was a shame that, but so what we do is with the track list, if the track's actually out, because we play a lot of kind of promos, we put them in the podcast kind of playlist, and it's slowly grown. I think it's got like over 600 kind of followers, which again is another way as a label to kind of grow streams using that kind of playlist. So yeah, we do it on Apple Music as well. We're looking at other platforms as well, Amazon and Deezer, but predominantly from what we sort of research, a lot of people, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube Music is a lot of people's platform as well that they like to use.
I've said to other people about taking their podcast or their radio show and turning it into a playlist. So I'm glad that works. I've told some people to do that. I'm glad you're doing it. It works. I didn't realize you were doing that. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's again another way. If people prefer Spotify to listening elsewhere, they can, instead of listening to me blab on in between tracks, they can just enjoy the tunes without any hassle.
Was you, when you so back to streaming, was you multicasting? Were you just Twitch, or what was when you went to Twitch? You said you were going to Mixcloud as well? Were you doing any other platforms?
Yeah, at the start, after we did the first few and kind of ditched the Evermix box and went for the OBS and what's it called? Restream.
Yeah,
that's the one. Restream. Yep. So yeah, then we put it pretty much on everything. We were putting it on YouTube, put it on Mixcloud, we put it on Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. So we were putting it across like as many of our platforms as we could, just to get that as much exposure as we could, really.
Did you find there was a dilution of the chat because you were going to multiple platforms, or did you, or because you had numbers on the platform already? Was that just help the growth?
Yeah, I think it was more the latter of what you said there. I just think it helped the growth of the live streams and the brand. I think in terms of the interaction and what people love the most, kind of Facebook was the king at the start. And we just had them running in the background on other channels. YouTube was very popular as well, but we started having massive issues with copyright. But that was really good in the early months. But then it got to the point where we're going to focus on 2, and let's just push the 2. And that was Mixcloud and Twitch. We would put it on Periscope for Twitter. That would get a little bit of interaction, but no, you wouldn't get people sort of chatting in there. So yeah, we kind of at first did them all just to get us out there, and then kind of slowly, when copyrights were coming in and all that type of stuff, just focused on the 2.
Yeah, the copyright thing's been a mad problem for lots of people, which has been.
Yeah, I mean, I got an email. I think you might have got the same one in terms of they got the first kind of breakthrough with, I think, Warner Music in terms of
yes,
so coming to some sort of deal with them and where you can play the music without getting strikes or whatever, which is a positive thing.
Yes, that happened the other day. It's exciting for Twitch growth. Yeah, I'm excited that's happening.
Yeah, it's good to see them actually doing something about it. I mean, you know, the whole Facebook thing, it was like, copyright strike here, and threatening to take your page down. And I've heard stories of people having 50,000 followers and the page just got taken off them, couldn't get it back. And I'm like, wow, it's once you've put years of hard work into growing your following, for them just to like take it away from you and start again, it's tough, man.
Were you leaving your streams on your as VODs on Twitch, or did you just remove them straight after?
Yeah, we just left them on Twitch.
Nice.
Yeah, just for like, again, if people wanted to kind of watch them back, they could do. Again, I'd leave kind of Ash to sort out that type of a thing for us. He's a bit more technical than what I am in terms of the amount of times I'd ring him up. Oh, don't know how to do this. Right, let me dial in and sort it out. So, yeah, good old team viewer.
Nice. Yeah, nice. And then what's the focus now? Like, obviously that was 60 weeks. So you still streaming? Is it still on a Saturday? Like, are you taking the streams on the road? What's the plan for?
Yeah, so we come to the decision to do like the 60th show. We noticed that the world was opening back up, and the kind of numbers of people watching were like week on week sort of dipping off and dipping up, which is understandable. People have been locked up for so long, just going around with their friends back garden, having drinks, and what we were kind of thinking is like during the time where it would be, say, 5 people watching, those 5 people are maybe in a garden together, and it's just that one screen that they're watching, so it's down to 1. And it was kind of, the numbers were dropping off, so we decided it would come to the end of the road at some point. So we stopped vinyl sessions at 60, but we wanted to continue to still give our audience something on a weekly basis. So we started something called Saturday sessions. So we'd have a resident of us, like for example myself, then would get a guest DJ to play the week after. Then we get another resident, say Queen Bee, guest, Jazz P, guest. I get my daughters on, who I know we haven't spoken about it, but have learned to mix on vinyl during this period of time. So they'd go on and play a 2-hour set while I just sat and watched and was like, yeah, wow, what am I actually watching here? 13-year-olds playing vinyl. And then, yeah, so we kind of still continue to do the Saturdays. The numbers have kind of dropped from what they were on the vinyl sessions. We're back this week. Queen Bee's going to be live on Twitch. It's 7:00 till 9, and then we're at Box Park on Saturday, and myself and the guys are going to stream from 9:00 till 11. So we'll just kind of transfer from Queen Bee's place to ours.
That's cool. That's
really
cool.
Yeah, so we'll continue to do the live stream stuff on a Saturday, again, as close as we can to the times that we've always did. But again, we'd always know we'd start getting gigs on a Saturday, and we'd have to really look at how we're going to do this, because we can't do them every week. Yes, so we're back at Box Park, so events are starting to come back. Like I say, we just did a festival at the weekend. I'm getting some personal kind of DJ bookings as well, which is great. So yeah, it's been a really good period. And I get asked this quite a bit. Like, obviously, the whole pandemic thing is awful, and it's not been good for a lot of people. On a flip side, for us, in a really positive way, in the message that we've put out in terms of, music is the answer. It's really grown for us during this time. So, like, financially, it wasn't great, but in terms of exposure for the brand and for us as DJs and the music and all that, it was really positive, shall we say.
A lot of DJs still coming on Twitch now, and as the platform, as you say, is growing and the music rights are getting better. Do you have any tips for DJs that would now starting on the platform?
Yeah, I think get on it as quickly as you can, and you have to get to the levels within Twitch and for you to grow, especially to monetize. I was speaking to DJ, funnily enough, he asked that question about 2 weeks ago, and they had no idea you could kind of monetize and get to certain levels in which you can get subscriptions, and so people can come back and follow you. And it's a great way, if, like you say, if you're new to the platform, to grow yourself as a DJ. People kind of know what music you're into, like you as a person. That's why not all DJs use mics, and I'm not a wedding DJ, but I just like to have, it goes back to my radio days, having that interaction and that personal connection with, people say, oh, can you give me a shout out? That makes their day, that makes their night. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a name drop or where they're from. And again, it keeps it real. So you can grow yourself as a person and DJ, and then they'll want to come and see you play at the club, or they'll want to come and meet you somewhere. So yeah, I definitely say if you're not too shabby and you've got a mic, don't be on it all set, just now and again, just to keep that interaction going. And yeah, just use it, share it with your friends, drop it into WhatsApp groups, put it on your socials, point people to follow you. And we also had, maybe when you get a little bit more followers, I think that's Streamlabs. I don't know if you do this, Graham, but to chat you have to follow, and it's like it's a way to kind of grow your channel as well in terms of followers. You could look at getting some nice kind of backgrounds and stuff if you want. I didn't do any green screens on mine, but I kept it to the kitchen. But yeah, you can explore in terms of visually how it looks and stuff like that, which will catch people's attention when they're looking at what's going on in on Twitch when they kind of look into the page.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of the greens. Like, I've seen a couple of green screens that have been quite good, but I quite like obviously we built our studio in the garden when we started it, and I
must say it's quite impressive. Like it takes me back there. Is it Andy Peters and the broom cupboard? It's got that kind of vibe going on.
Yep, so this is our literally we built when we moved into this house. That we had this. We were like we've got a shed. What are we going to do with it? And we were like, let's make it into a party shed. And when we have parties, people can just get mashed up in the shed. And basically down there is the biggest fancy dress box you've ever seen. And we've got we've got inflatables everywhere. So shaky bananas.
Cool.
And just random shit everywhere. But and then when I came onto Twitch, I was like, right, I'm turning the shed into a studio. I'm turning it into a disco shed studio.
Yeah.
And again, that's now grown into more ideas, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful how things just kind of evolve in Twitch streams, and just a little nugget of someone saying something then turns into something a lot bigger as part of the stream.
Yeah. I know Queen Bee, like when she do a live stream, she had this mannequin. I think what was her name? It's something like Cheryl or something like that. But she'd dress it up every week, like in something different. Some weeks it'd have lingerie on, some weeks it would have like different wigs and flashing clothes, and it was quite a cool little thing to have on there. So
did you evolve your set? Did you evolve your setup as well?
I kept mine pretty boring, to be fair. I had like the kind of Let There Be House logos behind me. I couldn't really, where my kitchen is, and because I've got nowhere else in the house I could actually set these up, so I was pretty limited into what I could do. I remember I changed the settings a few times. We did Halloween, we all got dressed up, and I hung a few things up, a couple of cobwebs and all that type of thing. So yeah, I didn't really change it too much. I think I went in my back garden once when it was a sunny day and did nice. This stream from out there, which didn't go down too well with the neighbours. But
yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean about the follower chat. We do that. We play with that and just see if it does increase followers. Does increase? Yeah.
I think we've got coming up about 5,000 followers on our Twitch channel. But again, that just and that Streamlab thing, I think, kind of welcomes that person when they come in, like, oh, thanks for following, and bizarrely, you'd get people who'd be in week out on the chat would actually like, hey man, welcome to the chat, like welcome to the family and stuff, and instantly, like, for that person who's just joined, it's like, oh cool, how nice are these guys? Do you know what I mean?
I do love the community. I love a community we're growing, and definitely for sure, it's been shouts to the OGs, gang. And then what's the plan for that? What's the plan for the rest of the year? Have you got parties? What's the releases coming up?
Yeah, so we're at Box Park the first Saturday of every month. So I'm back down there on Saturday. So if anyone's in the London area, around Shoreditch, come and see us till midnight. It's free entry. Always good vibe on the terrace. I'm going to be in Ilkeston on the 16th of October for a party there, which is going to be very much old school vibe. We've got our birthday party, the label party in, again, Shoreditch at a place called Rolling Stock. So we've got tickets available for that if anyone fancies it. We've done it there last time before the lockdown. Great vibe. It's only quite small, intimate, about 250, but the atmosphere is just, it's really, really cool. So we are looking at some parties for December, and then next year we're just going to try to kick on and do a bit more in the festival market, as well as kind of getting sort of personal DJ gigs as well, for myself and the guys that are on board with the team. So yeah, it's looking exciting. And music, we've got some great releases locked in right up till the end of the year, which
nice.
I'm excited about. Yeah.
What do you, who does that? Do you still do the A&R for that, or how's the A&R process work for the label?
Yeah, so there's myself and Pete Chard, who is A&R for the label. So yeah, we demo at ltbh.co.uk if you want to send in any demos for any producers that are watching. So yeah, we get a lot of demos through now, which has changed since we first started. So yeah, there's a lot to listen through. So yeah, a little tip on demos: don't just send a link. Put a little bit about yourself and why you like the brand. I'm sure you've probably chatted on this many times, Graham. But 100%. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? It always helps somebody else saying it because it just drums it in. Like, yeah.
I mean, if someone just sends like a link, here's my demo, probably not going to check it out as much as someone who said, "Hey, Glenn." That's another thing. Like, try and find out who is A&R. That personal hi, Glenn, or hi, Graham, and blah 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 blah. Really appreciate if you check out my track. It's just, yeah, certainly will. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we've got releases locked in, but we're always open for people to send in music for the label.
I remember seeing the social media posts. So I think it was with the girls dancing in the kitchen with the signs, and I was just like, "That's so cool! Well done!" Like it looks sick.
I've got like a trampoline in the back garden as well, and I get ribbed for it because in the first couple of live streams, the girls would just bounce on the trampoline while I was playing. It was summer, and then all of a sudden they bring out like the house boards and they were like dancing around them and all that type of thing. So getting them involved's been definitely a good thing.
That's cool. I can't believe you got them DJing as well at 13. That's sick, man.
Yeah, man. So like I said at the start, I'd get them just practicing queuing up, like learning how to do that, and sort of during the week, obviously everyone's not working, and during that period of time, and just got them on the decks more and got them to learn how to use the kind of the pitch and when to release a record, listen to the structure, 16 bars, that changes, and just kept them on the decks really, and they enjoyed it. And yeah, so they had the first little, what I would do is I'd open at 6 o'clock and Lily and Freya would play like a song each. It'd go like back to back for like maybe one or two, and then I'd get into it. And then it got to the point where I was confident enough for them to, right, you can play half an hour, then I'll jump on. And then I was like, right, you're going to do an hour. So yeah, they much prefer kind of doing back to back rather than playing sort of on their own. I don't know if it's a twin thing or what, but I was trying to get them to like feel the music more, like, you know, just loosen up, you know, like get your groove into it. But they're concentrating so hard on getting that beat match that they're just like, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. It'll come in time once you can relax enough to get your groove on while mixing. But they're so dead humble. They would finish and they would just go back on the phones onto Snapchat with their friends and like nothing's happened. And I go, is anyone at school like a senior? And they're like, nah. I'm like, all right, okay. Fair enough.
You'll have them playing on this. They'll be on the same lineup as what's Fatboy Slim's daughter called? Fat Girl Slim.
Yeah.
She was.
But yeah, man, they're still enjoying it, and I think I'm going to get them on again in the next week or two, back on like a live stream set.
Did you have to change the way you DJ'd for playing live?
No, not really. I'm probably less animated, shall I say, like in a DJ box than I am in the kitchen with my family. But yeah, pretty much I always play with a smile on my face. I always look up and try and interact with the crowd. I know you're just looking into a camera at the time, but it's weird. You can kind of feel the energy from the kind of the chat and the buzz on when you see the amount of people watching and the chat kind of just going through. So yeah, I haven't changed much I haven't changed really in terms of how I play from a kitchen to in a club.
That's cool. Has anyone got any questions for Glenn in the chat? See, it's been pretty quiet. Everyone's been listening. It's been great, man. So here.
Boring everyone.
No, man, it's so interesting. Like I said, I heard the conversation in their clubhouse like back in January, and I was just like, "Fuck, they've done so well." and I was so happy for you guys. Like literally, like what I heard then, which was obviously by the time we got January, must have been like I think you were nearly at the 52 weeks, I think, or you were getting like you were because obviously it was like the end of January, and I think because it was dark outside and I was walking around. I live there's a circle around, and I was trying to get my daily exercise, and I was walking around just literally with Clubhouse in my ear, and one of your gang was in the chat telling about it, and I was just like, wow. Then I think you were like by then it was probably maybe 5 weeks to the end of the 52 weeks, and I was just honestly, I was so happy for you guys that you've grown that much in such a bad time, you know.
It's been it's been a game changer for us, for the brand, and just for the label as well. It's been really positive.
And are you still doing the podcast? Because I remember that's the thing I first knew of you was the podcast from way back, you know?
Yeah, so we're up to 375 episodes. Queen Bee just did the one that went out on Monday. So I'll be mixing up this week's at the weekend, and it goes out every Monday on SoundCloud, Mixcloud, iTunes. As I said, the track list goes in the Spotify playlist. So yeah, we're doing that every week still.
It's had a resurgence podcast platform, isn't it? It seems to be like once all the kind of devices and people going to the gym and listening to podcasts, they've grown recently again. It went through a bit of a dip in when everyone went to video, but now it seems to be back with a resurgence, which is nice, you know.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I remember a few years back, speaking to a guy who was working in radio for a long time, and I think he was a little bit worried that podcasts were just going to kill radio because everyone can just open the device, you can get music on demand rather than go and switch it on a radio waiting for your favourite song to come on. You can just go boom boom, that's my favourite song down there. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Skeleton says well done, Glenn. Said big up for the support in the past. Oh, you've played his music, wicked.
Yes. I've played a few Skeleton Keys tracks, I think, on the podcast over the years. So yeah, big ups.
Right, cool. I'll let you go because I know you've got to go to the school and the girls and the school run. So thank you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Well done. Like, honest to God, I'm so happy for you, buzzing for you. So well done. Thanks for coming in and telling us all about it. It was like, well done, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me, Graham. Much appreciated.
Okay. See you soon, dude.
Cool. Catch you later.
What was your biggest takeaway from that video? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you're getting out of these videos. I'll be reading all the comments and replying to them. If you've got any questions about the video or you've got any thoughts about the video, let me know in the comments below. And I'll be jumping in those comments afterwards. Let me know. I'd love to see you in the comments. Also, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's free. And you can always unsubscribe anyway. Love to grow this channel and this community on YouTube. So please consider subscribing. It means you get the videos first and you get notified when the videos go live. If you want to watch these interviews live, come and join us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Graham Farmer. The link is in the description. Come and join us live on Twitch. Subscribe over there and join us live in the chat and be part of the OGs in the crew. Finally, if you want to join our big networking server for producers, DJs, artists, come and join us on Discord. It's really cool. It's really fun hanging out in Discord. Again, the link's below. Join us in the Discord. And you get all the access to all the A&R feedback sessions and all the forms to submit your tracks to labels first. They're always in there first. I'll be answering questions in there again as well. Join us in there. It's good fun. Thanks again for joining us on YouTube, and I will see you in the next video or live stream. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.